if you had the thing. But the disconnect is that people who have never experienced being rich don't know how it feels to be rich. People who have never been in a happy, healthy relationship don't know how that feels. People who have never had an easy life don't know how that feels. Someone who has never experienced something doesn't know how it would feel. It's very easy to say that. It's almost, it's very easy to say that when you have experienced something and you can recreate it. But telling someone who has never experienced it to feel as if they are experiencing it is just not realistic. And what happens, what ends up happening, is the person gets very stressed and very anxious, wondering if they are doing it right, feeling it right, and then it just becomes an entire spiral of
Sorry.
questioning and confusion and getting upset and beating themselves up, and then nothing ever ends up happening from it because they don't know how they're supposed to be feeling. Because what pisses me off with a lot of you that tell people to feel it real, you don't elaborate because you don't know how to elaborate. You have all these smart words and you can quote Neville like fucking scripture.
Okay. So, have you ever had a fear? Any fear? Just think about it. Try to remember. Have you ever had any fear in your life? Especially fears that you never lived yourself. You see, you may have a fear because you saw a friend, a stranger, a family member. You saw them live something that you don't want to live. And you're like, oh my God, I wish this never happened to me. So even if it never happens to you, how does that feel? And how can you feel it if it never happened to you? Try to use that fear, your own experience, and try to see how you create feelings and how you feel things even if you never lived it. Another example is, have you ever thought about sex? Like, do you have fantasies? Like, I don't know, you probably have, I think. Try to remember. So what happens to your body, to your feelings, to your emotions? What happens when you think about that? Especially if it never happened. I personally felt sexual fantasies way before I had them. I had fears that I never experienced, yet that I lived in my mind very strongly and felt them. In the same way, before I was a model, I didn't know how that feels. Like, how can I know? Like, I lived in a ghetto, my family was very poor. Like, how? In the same way, I never had a romantic relationship. Do you know any human being who is born with a romantic relationship and who knows how it feels like? Because I don't know any. So how do you feel something you never experienced? Well, you feel it because you create the scene, you create the mental pictures, you create the thoughts, you create the meaning of it. Like, just close your eyes and picture yourself in a particular scene. Well, if you do it correctly, you will have automatically all kinds of feelings, all kinds of emotions. So you know how to do it because you do that every day. So if you try, you will know.